Setting up your water or doing water changes on a freshwater aquarium, there's a few things you want to be concerned about. One is making sure that you're putting a water ager of some description into the water, because the water ager is going to remove any chlorines or chloramones, which may absolutely be a problem in your area. Also, consider that the amount of chlorine or chloramone that's put into the water can fluctuate from time to time. So what you do one day may be totally fine, and you could do the same thing another day and then be in all sorts of trouble due to different amounts of chlorine and chloramone on the water. The next most important thing is to be aware of your KH. Now, fish from more acidic waters like lower KH, and fish from more alkaline waters like higher KH. And the KH is helping to stabilize the pH. So if you have high pH and low KH, your pH will easily fall. If you have low KH and low, that will then allow a low pH. So it is absolutely related, but it is not the same thing. Another thing you may be aware of, you may want to know about GH. So GH are your general hardening salts and so forth. Once again, as a generalization, your fish that like the harder water also tend to have more GH in the water, and your fish from the more acidic water tends to have less. So doing a little bit of research into the water conditions in reference to pH, KH and GH is a very good idea, because in most circumstances, when you do a water change, adding some water ager, some KH and some GH would be a normal maintenance requirement, depending on your area and depending on the fish you're actually going to keep. But here in Sydney, there's very much a if you can't beat it, join it type philosophy, because Sydney tap water has a very high pH and often a 0 KH. So if you want to run acidic water fish, you need to put something in to drop the pH, but you also need to make sure that you don't have a KH of 0, because a KH of 0 is going to hamper nitrification and do all sorts of problems. You want to be at least at 1 for a minimum. Now, the high pH fish, you can just jack up your KH, it keeps your pH up, and everyone's happy. So here in Sydney, most people tend to have a if you can't beat it, join it philosophy. So Sydney tap water is already high in pH, so therefore they will raise the KH, and Bob's your uncle, everyone's happy. If you want to go for the more acidic water fish, then you need to lower the pH. And here in Sydney, we often get what's called pH bounce, which means we lower the pH and then all of a sudden it bounces back up again. So you don't need to contend with lowering pH, stabilizing KH, and dealing with pH bounce if you're keeping more alkaline water fish, because with alkaline water fish, it's already alkaline to start with. You can chuck in some KH, the KH keeps the pH up, and everyone's happy. So, in general, goldfish, they're very happy in that environment. All of your cichlids are very happy in that alkaline environment. Most of your American cichlids, even though in the wild, may not be in that environment, they tend to be very happy. Goldfish very happy, most of the temperates very happy. So the fish that you may consider lowering the pH for are fish like angels and discus. You may consider lowering the pH for something like rams or Bolivian butterflies are something you might do it for. I find most of the larger tetras are totally fine, but something like neons or cardinals is something that you might also consider lowering the temperature for. So in general, most of the fish we sell here in Sydney are going to go into alkaline water. And that's because our water's already alkaline and it's very easy to keep it alkaline. And it really does require a fair bit of effort to run a lower pH. So most people think if you can't beat it, join it. Just get fish that like the water the way it is, so you don't have to worry about it. Hey Dean.